No, this is not what I want to say. This is what I'm going to say. And the amount of time it takes me might be offensive to you because you may try to hypothesize through some sentence you've drawn up yourself. You drew up a synthesis yourself. You come out with this census, these consensus of ideas, words, if it's just an idea, it's on superior. You come out with this consensus and you say to me that you're using the airwaves, abusing the airwaves. The noise that you are able to make with your mouth and vocal cords is too loud, and they said they don't want to hear you. You are a disturbance in their neighborhood. I'm very disturbed because these are the same people looking at the building. Now, if you didn't see the building, how will you know how to judge it? So you see me, the builder, also the building, because without the building, nothing else can be built on or around. So where it's built, something else has built it. So when I build on this a little bit further, we're going to find out what the coward's going to say when he pull up behind the voice of the people who he say he so proudly represents. Then the people, when they find out that there's a complaint among their entity in their neighborhood being a person can also be described as an entity dealing under other contracts. They find out there's a person that looks something like them that they think they can beat upon. They think maybe they can beat the complaint out of them before they're able to get to the center of culture where the complaint is mostly dealt with. Now, the conspiracy in America is not only will they try to take the instrument which you use to lodge the complaint, they will also take the instrument and then try to plagiarize some other education. They might try to educate themselves some other way to dump off on another culture. Now, culture outside their own home, outside their own daily living, if it is not something that they're kind to or keen to, is offensive to them just because they don't have an interest. Now, what is wrong is that there isn't an interest in understanding the complaints of other households and other individuals to a degree where it is exposed to the public, where someone will say, well, that's your personal problem. Why are you bringing it to the public? Well, the public problem is this, that they don't think that your personal problem has anything to do with their ideas or the way their life is lived. But I'm going to say to you, if you don't pay your gas bill, then the gas prices will eventually, coexisting at that same time where you were unable to pay your bill, it might be it might have effect in the market, and it might cause the gas bills to go up. Maybe you had an expensive bill. How big was the bill? How large? You'll say that. So just like the gas leak says, how large is the complaint? Now all of a sudden, you don't want to hear nothing because somebody might have a liability suit against the county police and you didn't ever get a chance to sue. So now you're saying, man, we go through that all the time. What you crying about? This tells me that you kind of understand life in America to be hush-hush about you doing what you have to do to survive because things may be a certain way. And consequently to doing things a certain way, when the corporal punishment comes from the guy with the badge and the gun, you're just going to take it. You're just going to deal with it, accept it how it is, because that's a fact of life. Let me pause right here. Again, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Barack Obama is the president. I don't know which watch you want time from. You want time from that watch, or the clock on this phone. But at the same time, you're over there saying that. I'm over here saying this. So there's 50 states in America. And in this one state, where I am on this plane, speaking of what I've experienced on other planes and other explanations, this is what I have to say to the people first before the complaint gets to you, because I have to educate them first what a complaint is, because one, there are not enough. There could never be said to be enough complaints because the order of business is never really settled for the day. Although the day closes, there are still complaints that are clothed in the closet, like hung on a rung, strung across a string, or some tapped and patted into a box. I just said, where do you come from, boy? You a white boy, you a white man, you a sellout. What's that accent? This is what they're really saying about your knowledge. But they don't talk about the accent. They don't talk about really directly about the way to dress or the way to redress or the way to conduct or to express or to vie in life or go travel this way. They want to say it to some other condescending things which they develop as a victim character that being bullied on by this man with all the common denominator of all the prevalent phrases that people like to use most often who are feeling a success. Now, in the economy of depression, a lot of times when there's some counsel to be heard or some counsel to be had for free, it is always examined that the man will not receive it. Now, here is the snake in the human nature. Now, because the human nature is so snakish, so subtle, it's under us like a snake probably will paddle across the ground. And snakes do paddle, though most people think they do not paddle. I'm not going to take you on that journey. But this is the bedevilment of the mind of humanity. It is not only here, because I see over there where they are talking about bombing and blowing people up. Today, some 43 people were blown up with some type of destructive instrument. And people come to you right in your neighborhood, and when you say this, and drop the bomb on you. The bomb word is cops, police. Drop the bomb on you everywhere you go. Get that shit out of here. We ain't trying to hear that. The brokest motherfucker in the planet always says shit like that. Oh, nigga, who? You ain't nobody. Well, the fucking preacher you talking to ain't nobody either, my nigga. They fucking kids, raping kids, drinking piss water, beer, all that kind of shit. Then you go get dressed, wash up with some Dial soap, go into the motherfucking hospital, talk about this my paycheck, and you say, this is my paycheck. Yeah, I do that in church, but I don't do that on the culture of my job. That's different. This is my job, and I need you out of my office. Now, if you're in the office saying that to the preacher, the preacher already has a direct relationship with you for you to get that far. For him to sit you at the desk and try to trap you in the office so he can get some of his congregation to come in there and rough you up and deliver this message from the master who has the gun and the badge. Now, there are many masters, but I would never be lorded over by any of this. Again, my name is Mark Taylor. You can be confined, but you can be released. We already know that when a man is free and he cannot be driven into debt, there is a spirit battle between the man who seeks after debt to follow, and he finds it in the character of the face of a man, something like yourself, or something like across the street. Can we get closer? But if you can see something like that man, that when you expect because of your success that people would draw nearer to you, you find uneventfully something they didn't really have to invent on their own, because the process of your advancement, you did a self-examination to find alone. Now, you knew alone you were able to have this success. But when you say outwardly what alone you say to yourself in your mind, people discover that you have finished a lot of things that people are already just beginning to start. And they say, because we don't respect you, whether it might be true or false, we don't want to hear those statements coming from you, because we don't respect a person without the degree. You haven't been along us a long enough time for us to build a degree of receptibility to what you are saying. So get out of here before we call the police, nigga, or I'll put my hands on you. Come on with some of that. I love that. But that's not why I'm out here today. That's never my intention, because the body knows that it cannot exist if it continues to endure these kind of attacks. So let's take a pause here. Then we can come back and examine what is also not understood as being enemy say, or the opponent act, say in their intention, when they say, we will do this because we don't like that, and these are the results, chains and handcuffs and jail cells and your face in the busted magazine. Explanation, please. This thing won't do nothing.